We believe you can grow to be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. We do shows on mental health, intellectual health, social health, spiritual health, financial health, and today's episode is going to be on physical health. And we're going to focus on the holistic side of it. Physical health, holistic. Super interested to see where our guests take this. We got 3 awesome guests waiting for us to give us a little bit of advice on how to improve our physical health holistically. If you have not seen Millionaires Are Made Before, this is the show built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something that you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. We do our best to keep this as authentic as possible with no bias or persuasion. So I don't even get to meet our guests till about 20 minutes before the show, and I don't know their tips either. So it's going to be a wild one today. I try not to tell them anything or do any kind of bias or persuasion. Their tips are going to be from them and their own life experiences, so we can learn how different people do different things. It's going to be pretty awesome. I'm excited. Audience, if you're watching this, please ask questions. We love comment a question here. We will ask it live and put our guests a little bit on the spot. Feel free to comment and ask. We love engagement from the audience for sure. On that note, I do want to shout out some of our followers. On Facebook, Kenzel KP Pearson, thank you so much for following us. We love your support. Instagram, Andra Annette, thank you so much. And on TikTok, Ironclad Brotherhood, you guys rock. Thank you for following us. And on YouTube, Drew Harms. Oh man, this is a show for you, Drew. Thank you for following us. We are so excited to be here today and hear from some of these awesome guests. It's going to be a fun one. I can't wait. If you are looking for any podcast guests, we'd love to give back and help out. We have 4 here. Feel free to check out their info and message them directly, or as well as me. I love being a guest on other podcasts and helping grow knowledge everywhere. If you think you have a little piece of info that you want to share and want to be a guest, dude, sign up. There's no reason not to. Everyone on this world has at least something that they can share and help teach and grow, so we all can be smarter and more healthy and grow as a society. If you are also struggling through something or not sure about it, confused or uneducated on a certain topic that you can't figure out, let us know. We will go out and we will find 3 awesome guests that can give you a piece of advice and hopefully get through that time with you as well. If you love what we do, obviously you do, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, send stars, whatever the hell on your medium that you do, because we need that to keep going and growing. And we love hearing back from you guys as well. And if you do want to have a little more in depth other than these episodes, I do offer coaching for free, growwithaustin.com. Links being dropped right now. I'd love to talk one-on-one. All I do all day is learn from people smarter than me. So I try to take their knowledge and do at least a little something. And I'd love to give that to you and give back to our community here. And without further ado, I do have to announce our sponsors to keep this show going. Our first sponsor is law firm Elm Law Office. Eric, the attorney there, is dedicated to delivering the highest quality legal representation in Colorado. He focuses on family law and immigration law. His mission is to be a champion for his clients. He kicks ass, provides us exceptional service, and navigates legal challenges you wouldn't even know or begin to believe. Check out that link right now if you need any sort of legal help or have questions, and give him a call. Our next sponsor, Healing Vocals Artist Management, led by Dr. Mary Anderson, fuses medicine and music to create a global impact. Pretty cool company here. They heal bodies and uplift souls through medical missions for their body and artist support and music for their souls. Check out that link right below. Our next sponsor, Ben Thinking About Your Health. Ben is an awesome insurance agent that offers nationwide health insurance with the freedom to choose any doctor you want. It's perfect for healthy individuals and businesses that want a cost-effective, tax-deductible plan with top-tier coverage and saving money. Couldn't be any better than that. And our last sponsor, I know sometimes it's annoying to hear sponsors, but they're awesome companies. Go check them out. Support them while they support us. True Leaders is a bi-monthly magazine offering practical guidance, inspiring stories, and in-depth interviews for aspiring and current leaders. So if you're looking to take off and become a stronger leader, a better leader, you can check out the True Leaders magazine. It's available digitally for free, and you can get it in print if you like to actually read on Amazon. Emphasizes influence and driving positive change. Whew, that was fun. Without further ado, let's get into this. Physical health, holistically. Holisticness, holistic-ishness. We'll find out. We'll bring in our first guest here, Manish. Manish, answer me this
Hi,
question. Who are you?
I am a NLP coach, board certified hypnotherapist. I have been an occupational therapist for more than 2 decades. I'm a Silva Method instructor and practitioner.
Wow. All right. So you've been doing some cool stuff.
Yeah,
Riddle me this question. If I wanted to improve my physical health with holistics, give me a tiny piece of advice on how to do that.
I would say unlock your mind's potential. There's a
Ooh,
root to
how?
everything. There's a root to everything that's physical. The physical body is a manifestation of a thought. So this is where mindset, mindfulness, consciousness comes into play. And when you unlock your mind's potential by accessing those altered states of consciousness, namely the alpha theta states, you are able to reprogram your mind, your subconscious mind, to be able to create the life that you desire, including health, right? And this is not to replace medicine or other things such as exercise and any type of holistic supplements, but it's to actually complement it. And it's really by accessing those creative visualization, imagination, and mindful components that are within you. But you have to access those states of consciousness, the alpha theta states.
Awesome. Cool. That's an
Yeah.
interesting tip. Where on your life journey did you learn this?
To be honest with you, I used to play a lot of soccer back in the day. I had 3 knee surgeries. I was going through
I
a
know
lot
about
of
that.
Yeah, I was going through a lot of emotional issues, personal issues in life. I'd gotten to a very low point in life mentally, but also physically. It was pre-hypertensive, pre-diabetic, chronic pain, wasn't sleeping, very irritable. It was affecting every aspect of my life. And upon learning the skills from mindfulness, the thought sciences, the Silva method, I was able to rewire that and to start to improve my functional life significantly. Stopped taking any medication to sleep at night. Stopped applying CBD oil halfway through the night. Does
Wow.
that mean that the problem's gone away? No, it means that I'm managing it better. You know,
Did you say the silver method?
Silva, Silva, Silva method.
Oh, tell us about that.
The Silva method has been around for maybe 50, 60 years worldwide.
Okay.
And it really is one of the pioneers of the thought sciences. It's endorsed by many thought leader, Jack Canfield, Wayne Dyer, Louise Hayes, Vishen Lakhiani. It is a component. Silva Ultramind is component of Mind Valley, but it's not the Silva method. It's a 4-day immersion program, which teaches you techniques and the ability to actually access at will those alpha theta states of mind to be able to heal yourself, actually heal others, and to be able to reprogram those parts of your mind, the subconscious mind that might be leading to certain stress, distresses, and things like that. It's a 4-day immersion program, so there's only so much I can tell you right now, but
Okay.
it is backed scientifically to allow you to independently at will access those alpha theta brainwave states of mind.
Awesome. Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Manish, I think we're ready to move on to our next guest, but thank you for your
Excellent.
insight.
Thank you for having me.
Cut him off a little. Zachariah, who are you?
Who am I? Well, as you just said it so wonderfully, I'm Zachariah Frank, and I'm the CMO of beatcancer.org. We're a 47-year-old nonprofit organization in the holistic cancer education space. And I'm also a podcaster. I'm the host of the Health King's Court, Ancient Wisdom, Modern Health, where I also give out tips on assorted avenues of being well.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Well, let's get to your tip then. If I wanted to improve my physical health with holisticness, what simple piece of advice would you give me?
Well, my simple advice would be to live consciously. There's
Live
so many
consciously.
things Yeah, just live consciously, because if you are existing consciously, you inherently are going to be assessing and observing everything in your reality. And through assessing and observing, you can then optimize. If you're just randomly going about your day or randomly doing anything and not giving it the due thought, the default option that's presented for us in most facets of life is very harmful, to say the least. And we could talk about all the reasons that is. We could talk about all the avenues of which most people are being harmed that they have no idea of. Anything that an average person does in their day-to-day life is unfortunately harmful in some sort of way. And it sounds crazy, and it sounds scary. But on the flip side of taking the responsibility and the accountability and the coming to comprehend that that is the case is the empowerment to actually do something about it, because we can do something about it to optimize our existence. Do I keep going, or do you have a question?
That's super interesting. Super interesting. I'm just processing, Zachariah. I'm just processing. All right. Well, let's just go over where on your life journey did you learn this tip?
Where in my life journey? I would say it was about maybe 7 to 8 years ago that I came across some information online, and just dove down one rabbit hole after another, and just started learning just how this world is operating and just everything that was going on. It's like they're putting what in the food, what's in the water, what's going on in our air, and then anything in between. It's an interesting world out there, full of things that aren't necessarily in your favor. So you have to be in your favor if you desire to live a good life.
So how do you combat what's in our air and our food and our water?
Well, if you want to address those three particularly, if you want to address air at a large scale, you'll probably want to move somewhere where there's not certain programs going on, that certain things are introduced into the air. We could leave it at that. I'm not sure what you'd like to talk about on this show. If you want to talk about if you want to talk about the air in your own home and in your own environment, well, if you see, I don't know if you can see it in this camera angle, but no, on the table over there and in every room in my house is an air purifying machine. They're not that expensive. They're not that, crazy to maintain. You just slap them in each room. They constantly filter the air, and it's crazy how much they'll catch, even in a relatively clean home. After a couple months or some time, those filters are clogged with visible particulates, and that would otherwise just be in the air floating around. Now, obviously, you can minimize how much particulates and how much garbage is in the air by staying clean in different ways. Well, what does that mean? Obviously, you dust your house, whatever. But what are you spraying into your air? What are you, burning? What kind of candles are you burning? What's putting into the air? What kind of perfumes are you spraying? All these things add up. And when we're living in these boxes that don't necessarily breathe very well, that we call houses, they're going to end up in your body and in your lungs in some way. So if we're talking about air, I guess those are the two big ones, in your own house and out in the environment. But if we want to talk about water, the two main ways we interact with water are drinking it and bathing in it, or showering in it, whatever. So obviously a very obvious solution is getting a quality drinking filter. I'm not talking about some Brita garbage. I'm not talking about the built-in filter on your fridge, because that does not doing much, unfortunately. Get a real filtration system. There's plenty out there. People have their different flavors that they like, reverse osmosis, distilled. Some people have heated arguments about which is better. I don't know. Do your own research and figure out what works for you. Either way, you'll probably be better off than with some garbage filter or with straight up tap. And God, we can get into that if you want. And then what's up?
let's go. All right. So you say Brita sucks, but is it better than tap?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, it'll remove a bit of things, but you know what? I think no, because it creates a false sense of security. That's my beef with Brita. It creates the false sense of security. If you just want to run wild and drink from the tap, so be it. But the people drinking Brita out there, I think they're doing something, so then they never look farther into it. It's a trap.
So is it Brita the company, or is it all those types of smaller filters?
Yeah, it's kind of like Kleenex, Band-Aid, right? They kind of just get used interchangeably with that type of just quick and easy pitcher filter. Obviously, Brita is a very popular one, but yeah, most quick and easy little filters like that, they're not necessarily doing much. Perhaps removing a bit of chlorine so they alter the smell a little bit, but independent testing allegedly has shown that they're not doing much other than that.
So what would be just a small step above a Brita filter for people that have Brita in their houses, which is probably almost everyone?
The smallest step at Walmart, I would say, they have these filters called zero water filters, and they actually come with a TDS meter, a total dissolved solids meter, and they do very effectively remove a lot of total dissolved solids from the water. The caveat being, if you don't change them on time, they will then start depositing it all back into the water, and it could actually make you very sick, and it gets disgusting. So if you're going to do that, be preemptive on the filter changes. That would I would say that's one step above, because it's probably available on the same shelves like at Walmart, you know.
Cool.
One step above.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah. We could go on about water for a while.
Yeah, I can see that. So what do you use? Reverse osmosis or distilled?
Yeah, so I use a quadruple stage filtration system under my sink. It has a reverse osmosis membrane, activated coconut charcoal membrane, and two other types of filters that it runs through. And then I add a blend of organic minerals back into the water to structure it, and then to mostly mimic the natural water cycle of precipitation, and then groundwater running through the streams, running through the rivers, picking up those natural minerals. To me, that makes the most sense. Some people have their thoughts against that, but my advocation is to try it or don't and see what works for you.
Everyone is for something or against something. Everything has pros and cons. How much did that system cost you for the people that are really ready to get into their water love?
That one wasn't bad. It was some Amazon special. You know, it's not some crazy brand or anything. Maybe like $200, and then the filters last a good while. So, yeah. You could also get a countertop unit. Before I had the under sink, I spent a couple of years traveling around, and I wanted to make sure I had clean water no matter where I was. So we had a countertop unit that also had 4 stages of filtration, just like this under sink. But when we were moving house to house, we can bring it with us. And so
very cool.
There's always a way. There's no excuse. I don't want to hear, oh, but I live in an apartment. I can't install it under the sink. No, just get the countertop done. All right, what's the next excuse? You know, everyone has an excuse why they can't do something.
Everything's got a pro and a con, and everyone's got an excuse. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Zachariah, we got to move on to our next guest. We'll bring you back out in a few minutes here. Hey, Steven, who are you?
How you doing? My name is Steven Nowak. I'm an author, near-death experiencer, and zero-point healer. So I had an experience at a young age that at one time I thought was just a past memory. I tried to hide it, and then many years later, I started seeing lights in my room, having visitations, and basically these beings returning to teach me what I had seen at 4 to heal myself, which was a lot of conscious, subconscious programming. It was a lot of non-duality principles, making the 2 poles within our body one, teaching me basically how to reprogram and rewire my nervous system out of that survival mode and all the trauma that I had endured. They really came back and helped me heal from depression, addiction, the debilitating physical pain of getting run over, crashing cars, being a young man. But I guide others now through quantum entanglement to help heal their bodies, to help control the polarity in their system, because that's where they're kind of pushed and pulled around in this alternating current. They want a strong ground, direct current. And you can only do that with mind-heart coherence, when my conscious is linked to my subconscious. And I'm the programmer. So over time, I started to have a lot of supernatural experiences, getting lifted out of my chair. And at this time, I was a normal, everyday, going to retail store management position worker, just a regular person. Whatever happened to me was in my past. So I would have experiences like I'd be sitting out in my yard. I'd get lifted up out of my body, spoken to that I'm a biological machine. that have a quantum generator here and a crystal here and some type of frequency oscillator, like a plasma arc, if you will, and just more memories of those experiences of being in the quantum field, which now I use to help others heal, no matter the distance around the world. It's not limited because you're sharing light particles, and now we have the science behind it to show that. So they really encouraged me when they came back to start looking at myself like a computer, that I'm downloading programs. It's being run by my iOS, my operating system, that I had to start doing something with these corrupted files, these negative charges that were getting imprinted into my cellular memory and just kind of run on their own in these unhealthy patterns of behavior. And I didn't realize, it took me a long time to realize how sensitive I was from the experience, that I had mitigated all that with drugs and every unnatural substance I could from feeling. And it was really
Like
that I was
water that's
afraid
not
of
pure?
feeling. Sorry.
Like water that's not pure?
Yeah, basically. So now I work with people, I mean, veterans with PTSD, people with cancer, to reprogram their body so that the body does heal. The key is to speak to it with gnosis and truth. I want my body to believe that something has already happened, because it's not going to fight back with me. It's going to accept what I believe. I can believe I'm unworthy, or I can believe I'm worthy, and I'm going to feel whichever one I believe. The problem is we had past programming, so we tend to resonate with that unworthiness. So once we can kind of reprogram the system a bit, rewire how we identify with our own thoughts, how we feel about the world, start to identify these energies as corrupted files and sending them to the toroidal field that we have in our heart, to basically discharge them rather than storing them in the body. So this is going to change your frequency, your ability to gather the energy to manifest the life you want, and the health. You know, it took me from chronic pain, where debilitating, where I thought I'd be in a wheelchair, to now I take nothing. I don't even take ibuprofen. I rely on controlling basically the polarity within my system. Uh, like magnetic dust. Those are going to be the negative thoughts that are sticking to you. If you can control the polarity and the energy in your system, you can discharge those. So that was a
All right,
lot of what they had taught me.
real quick, Stephen, let me ask you, if let's just get straight to your tip. If I wanted to improve my physical health with holisticity, what simple piece of advice would you give me?
You want a consistent routine of programming your body in the morning, and then trying to watch your inputs and your outputs, what I allow in as far as negative thoughts and heavy feelings, and what I connect to. In between that, you're looking to gather something. You want to take it not personal. It's just data and energy. I'm the one feeling the feelings. I'm not those feelings themselves. You want to begin to start to separate and recognize your identity and root it in as something larger than the world. Because by doing this programming consistently, then I can speak to my nervous system and say, you're already whole. You're already loved, and I can expand it when I'm feeling squashed and tightened down.
Very cool. Wow. And you kind of answered this, but maybe take another couple seconds. Just where on your life journey did you learn this info?
Sure. Got hit by a car when I was 4. Woke up sitting, I was on a big wheel actually, and my brother was across the street and he was calling me to go to the mall. And I was like, well, the mall. And I just took off between 2 parked cars, and a car hit me, and the woman was drinking, and she didn't know she hit a child. And plus I was so small, so she kept going. So by the time people had waved her down and stopped her, it was like 30, 40 feet later. I was under this car, and I remember seeing my eyes roll in the back of my head. And then I remember literally what I thought was waking up, and I was leaning on someone, and I'm thinking to myself, what happened? And so I opened my eyes, and I could see like hair, like almost touching the ground. It was silver. I could see like the bottom of a robe because my head was down. And when I turned to ask this person what happened, it wasn't a person. It was like a hooded figure of light. And they said, Stephen, put your head down. Everything's going to be all right. And as I did that, I was staring in this being's face, and then I'm just getting pulled in, and I start to see a scene. It's like meadows and flowers and colors, and the colors were alive. It was like so much more vibrant than this place. It's hard to describe, but everything was its own sovereign being. And that, kind of stuck with me, that sovereign, the energy of love, just being human. I couldn't say I am a healer, I'm this and that. I'm just the energy of love, being human, helping people remember what they are as sovereign beings. So I witnessed people playing in the background, and I noticed one as a child, and they laugh, and there's almost like a path leading out to them, and they were far away, but they were close. So she laughs, and this laughter just floats through the air, hits me in the center, and then I realize everything is one. That it all came from this place, it's all going to circuit back to this place eventually, and that it was love, and that was my identity. That I didn't need to give that away to the world for approval, validation. Now, it took some time to remember all that, to have it come back. So it was like 11 or 12. They also brought me to the quantum field, and they said, this is the quantum field. Human beings build their reality with this field using their thoughts and their emotions. And they brought me to like a column or a pillar of light. And they said, this is you when you arrive. And then they showed me like a wheel. And I call it like the wheel of creation, but it was like a wagon wheel. And they said, as you spend your energy, and I could see energy going out from this column to the outer rim, they said, you basically spend your energy to experience this material reality as a being of energy, that you were eternal, things like that. And then I saw a trinity, but it was a triangle, and it had points of energy on each tip. And I'm just watching, and it was more or less like the observer perspective. They have points on each tip, and they're coming into the center, and they say, this is Heavenly Father, this is Divine Mother, and this is Holy Son. Make the three one. And I didn't understand until later that was my past, present, and future. That was so I can no longer be, held in the past with shame, guilt, regret. Boom, like a rock drops in me and holds me in an alternate reality. Yeah.
I hate to cut you off, but we're running out of time.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, we're going to have to move on and bring Zachariah and Manish out and go over some tips here. Hey, Manish, do you really quickly want to refresh what your tip was for us?
Well, I think my tip actually very much just like Stephen and Zacharias is to access those parts of your mind, right? To go within. It's all about the self, to not look at everything external, but to go inside. The doors of self-awareness open inwards. So that in short, and then there's so many techniques that you can use, and everything's different for everybody. Some people, some people will use water. I love what Zach said about water. I mean, some people will use water. Water is a supercomputer. Your subconscious mind is where everything happens. So connecting to that quantum field, source, spirit, whatever you want to call it, but all the answers are within. And you can actually navigate through life with more ease if you start to go inward.
Zachariah, what are your thoughts?
Both Stephen and Manish have such wonderful ways of putting things that I'll very much get behind as well. I very much agree with a lot of what was said by the other gentleman. It's very interesting to see everyone's flavors of expressing the same thoughts. And it's awesome to have panels like this where different people in the audience that resonate with different people's delivery styles can resonate with that message, whatever that means. Should I give my tip or?
Not yet. Not yet. Steven, what are your thoughts on Manish's tip?
Oh, I think it was great. I think, like he said, it's like different flavors of ice cream. You know what I mean? All leading to that sweet spot. It's really cool about.
Yeah. I love when everyone kind of says almost, kind of the same thing, but very different flavors, which is, that's a good point. Zachariah, do you want to refresh us what your tip was?
Yeah, sure. So my tip, what I said before, is to live consciously, and to put it in more concrete language, I would say before you do anything, whether that's have a thought or go to a location or put on a piece of clothing or pick up a cup or anything, think about why you are doing that thing, why you are driven to do it, and where that thought has come from to even bring you to the about to be doing it in the first place. Because a lot of people are living in a way that their actions aren't even originating from within themselves. They've just been guided to do what they're doing, and they just keep on doing it. and perhaps not to the optimal end point of their own existence.
Stephen, what are your thoughts on Zachariah's tip?
He's so correct. There's so many programs out there that are looking to capture your emotions first and then eventually your identity. This is why it has to be rooted and grounded within yourself and given to yourself by yourself, because the world's not going to come up and say, hey, you're a sovereign being. No, they're going to use your emotions. They want your identity. And then we're getting into quantum harvesting. And now you're harvesting and transforming my energy for your potential rather than me having access to it myself.
Awesome. All right. Manish, what are your thoughts on Zachariah's tip?
Yeah, 100%. And if I can share that consciousness, it just like he said, if you're conscious and mindful on something that's negative, something that you don't want to create in your reality, that's what you're going to harness, right? And that's the same with disease, dis-ease, and illness and everything. So 100%. And when you start to become mindful, present of that which you want, what you desire in the present moment. Great tip, Zach. I love that. Is to start really quick. And it's as simple as, why are you putting the toothpaste on the toothbrush? But you're becoming so present. And if you start to practice that and that becomes a habit, you're gonna be conscious and practicing being present.
Absolutely. And there's levels, right, man. You could get to the toothpaste. You could ask yourself why you're brushing your teeth with a plastic toothbrush in the first place.
That was one of the biggest changes for me too, was looking at why I did things. What made me tick, and just asking those questions. So yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah. Why is a very good question to ask.
Shout out to my friends in the chat. I see you. I don't know how to respond to you, but I see you in the chat.
You can just respond live. Yeah, out loud. Stephen, what was your tip? Quickly refresh us, please.
My tip would be, have a consistent routine of programming your identity, because this is going to release you from a lot of these past identities holding you in all these other places and allow you to gather energy into yourself to manifest the life you want. So have that consistent daily routine of some subconscious programming.
Manish, what are your thoughts on that tip?
I love that. It's something that we reinforce. We talk about it a little bit differently. When you wake up in the morning, you're coming out of that theta state of sleep, and you're already an alpha. And that's when you, boom, program every positive thought and intention that you have. So I love it.
As well as intend to rewire and send signals through the heart, rather than store them in your body.
That's the feeling.
So it's going to be that, right? Yeah, you want that feeling, that mind-heart sync.
100%.
And Zachariah, your thoughts on Stephen's tip?
This whole universe is governed by frequency, vibrations, and sound, and it's very important to understand what state of existence we are in the present moment, and what we may be more susceptible to and have to be on guard about, or what we may be able to fully experience and go about in the physical realm while maintaining our inner peace as well. So yeah, it's absolutely important to not just monitor your physical health. I know this is the physical health episode, but in a holistic sense, there is no separating the physical from the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the energetic, whatever you wish to call it, because it is all one.
Yeah, and that's excellently said. I have many clients who speak to their physical pain, and they can move their physical pain, because we're dealing with polarity and other things. And it's just being aware of the mechanism that's behind creation and using it to your advantage. It's not that anybody's special. We're all fine, our journey home, we're all doing it.
All right, guys, we're moving to our last little bit. We're running long on this episode, so let's try to do it fast. We got to come up with our daily challenge. It needs to take less than 5 minutes a day, cost $0, and be available to anyone from Zimbabwe to Alaska. And how can we improve our physical health with holisticness? Thoughts?
Just to sum it up with what everybody said, start off first thing in the morning, man. Wake up first thing in the morning, have a sense of gratitude, and visualize and imagine consciously that which you want to transpire for yourself for the whole day, right? As soon as you wake up.
Yep. And I'll add to that and say, work with the feeling of knowing itself, just the sensation. Don't apply it to anything. Just see what it feels like when you think of some things you do know for certain and then things you're doubtful on, and compare them, because this is going to start to give you a gauge to where you can close that gap and deliver that maximum signal to your body that, yeah, I am whole. Yeah, I am healing. And then allow the body to accept that and say, hey, we're healing? Okay.
My last tip would be take action, because it's one thing to think about things, but we all have something, at least one thing that deep inside we know ourselves could be doing better. You just have to do it. Actually take the action. That's the tip. You already know what you need to do.
Yeah.
So I've got, when you first wake up, do like 2 minutes of gratitude, 2 minutes of visualization, and then come up with an action plan.
They intertwine.
Every day.
They intertwine. The action plan and the visualization can be intertwined.
Do your first task, your first action, complete your first task, maybe. Just go do it right away.
Could be. Yeah, whether it's a meeting or whether it's doing something to improve your health, and to get into the mindset, right, of doing action. You know, instead of saying to yourself, I need to work out to help lose weight.
Work out.
Reframe it, I will work out to reduce my weight. Be conscious of the words and the thoughts.
Perfect. All right. Well, I think we've got our daily challenge then, guys. Awesome. Well, we went a little overboard here, but it was a great episode. I'm going to thank you all, and then I'm going to put you guys backstage and wrap up the show. What an interesting show. Hopefully you guys all learned a little something here. Physical health, holistic. We learned a lot about your mindset and ways to go about getting your health in order using just the holistic side of things. Hopefully you guys learned something and had some fun. Be sure to follow and like our guests and go check out all their